In this video, I'm going to show you DentVault, the patient management software for dental clinics that I made on my own with the help of Cloud and vibe coding, of course. So I'm just going to go through the setup. You got this wizard in the beginning. I'm going to open a folder, and then I'm going to make it as a destination where the whole patient list and folders go in. Clinic team, you can choose and add all the numbers. I will just go and add myself. 2 rooms seems good enough. So a little bit about the templates and the structure, but I will show you afterwards. You don't need to learn. So this is the first page, the dashboard, where you can see the total number of patients that you have, how many you have served or had in therapy in your rooms or in the clinic, how many new patients in the last 30 days, and so on and so forth. So this is like the first main page about information, overall information about the clinic. So here is supposed to be the list of patients, which we can add from here. So we're going ahead and add just some of them. Let's say Tim Smith. I'm just going to go ahead and just leave the rest of the information out. I'm going to need a few of them. I'm going to create done Jane Doe. Then let's go ahead with Hassan Husseini. Good. So what you see is within every patient, you've got a predestined folder tree where certain information go in. So you got consent forms, referrals, lab results, photos, x-rays, and so on and so forth. You can always add new subfolders for each folder of them, or just overall new folders within this sidebar. But the way you would want it is so that you have a consistent file tree within each folder of the patients. Let's say here with Jane Doe and the other 3 patients, Hassan Husseini, etc. This structure is okay, but we want to update it so that with each new patient that we create, so that it contains a new file tree. Let's go within the DentVault folder that we created in the beginning. And here are the 3 patients that we have created. And here are 2 folders that are important for the system. First is the template. This is the file tree that is always created for each new patient. Let's say the lab results, we don't need it. We'll just take it off. And now we have only 5 subfolders. So let's go ahead and try it and create a new patient. We're going to add Petrit Patatia. And here you have 1 folder less than the other ones. The specific one that we deleted was the lab results. So this is how you create and maintain a certain structure of folders or files. You can also put consent forms within this, which you know that you're going to have them signed every and each time from patients, so that you don't have to recreate them every time anew or copy and paste them. But you can also, let's say there are specific forms that you have that you sometimes use within a patient and sometimes don't. So we are going to take, let's say, these 3, and I'm going to drop them in here in this documents folder. What this does, I'm going to show you, is it updates this document templates. This means that when I go to a patient, and let's say I want to copy this treatment plan, we can go ahead and just drag and drop into here, into other. And what it does, it copies 1 instance of this file here. And here in the timeline, it tells you when it was created and what was added to this patient. You can take also this informed consent form and just drop it into consent forms, etc. And then have the patient sign it via a tablet, so that you have everything locally stored and digital. You can add as many as you want, and you also always have this under the special folder from which you can quickly drag and drop them within the subfolders of the patient. So this is one thing that I've seen that would make the life of a clinician much easier, because the dental software that I've used have a really confusing form of doing or dealing with this problem. So let's go now what we can do with the patient. Here we can open up the specific information for the patients. I must confess, I didn't really think through what is important and what isn't important in this page, which kind of informations we should add. But it doesn't matter. This is more a thing of trial and error. We can fix it, and that's why I've open sourced it, and you have the code online. I would be happy to get Git commits to make the software better and better. So here you also have the information for the future calendar appointments. Here are no upcoming appointments. And then here you have 3 special buttons: acute problems, medical history, and notes. So I wanted this to be separated between acute problems like recent infarction of the myocardium, some kind of chronic history, let's say arthritis and diabetes and so on. And I wanted them to be separate. But let's say we have, and I've made them with tags, an allergy. And I write it like this: allergy penicillin. Yeah, these shouldn't be really in here. I can fix that. But yeah, let's say drug reaction and so on. We got 2 of them. And let's add a new one. So these are predetermined, let's say infarction. So this one wasn't created. You can just create it from on here, and then you have this new tag for infarction. This is important. This is how I've created the whole app. It works with these kinds of tags and all is stored in a database, because I wanted to be able to create statistics from everything and to sort by kinds of information, by acute problems, by diseases, whatever, age, and progression of dental treatments. So that was the very, very building block through the whole app, so that I can generate reports and track success of therapies across patients. So when you add some acute problems within the patient, when you go outside, here there is nothing. Then we had this patient that had the problems. It always plops open so that you can't miss it. That's why it is an acute problem, so that every and each time this is information that you cannot miss out on. Whereas the other ones, medical history and notes, in notes I would like to write the disposition of the patient, if they are skeptical, positive, and so on, if they are extra sensitive to particular parts of the therapy, etc., etc. This will be relevant just for the doctors and nurses. Good. So this is this part. Then we have 2 small buttons here. This is to export patient information, including all kinds of timeline informations. And you can also restrict date range from when until when. I didn't try this one out. Cloud assures me that it works perfectly, but I guess this is ridden with bugs that have to be found out later. And then you can audit logs for each timeline entry and edit that has been done. It is recorded in here so that people cannot delete things that have already been done upon patients. Let's say there was a mistreatment, so that not one doctor can go back and delete it out of the history, because everything needs to be trackable, and the truth shouldn't be messed with. Again, this should work. I've tried it out a little bit by changing information, and I've seen the logs go on well, but it needs to be tested. Good. So here up top, you can sort or search by text in the information. Let's say dental here, and it sorts out just the timeline entries where that word exists. You can filter by category. You can add different categories, etc., etc. Then we have these buttons. We have dental chart, treatment plans, and ortho. Let's say within dental chart, we have it like this. You can select the tooth. Let me open up like this. And let's go through. You can select the tooth number 18. Let's say it's been extracted. You have here the tags and the shortcuts. You click E for extraction, M for missing, etc. Extractions in the sense that you have done them. Missing, when the patient appeared in your clinic, it didn't exist. Let's say everything's fine with tooth 16, but in the occlusive surface, we have to put it under observation. So we use the shortcut O, and we get this small eye that this eye should be watched for. Let's say this tooth is missing, or let's make it more interesting. Let's say it is impacted here, and it moves a little bit out of the sequence so that you have a visual feedback that it is impacted. And it's basically the same for all of these. So you can add as many tags as you want. Everything is editable in the settings tab. Let's say I've missed some information here, but you can fill it in later. So everything let's say this one is under observation, then it becomes a caries, then it turns into a filling. And sometimes, so I had to select this tooth, let's say reset to healthy, so the surface and filling with F. And sometime in the future, it turns into a crown. So we've done it into a crown, etc., etc., and it goes on until let's say we have resorption in one root, then the other had to be filled, and only in one canal it was correct, etc., etc. What I mean to say with this, all these tags that have been sequentially added, there is for each tooth an information database where it records how the state of the tooth has changed over time. So let's say you do a root canal treatment in a tooth, and you could retroactively check in the last 10 years, how long did those teeth hold out for? How long did the patient keep them in the mouth? So I think this is relevant information for any dentist who wants to make sure that they have a good success rate and wants to get better. So this is from my side. Other than this, you can also choose prosthetics, let's say from 3 to 3 here, from the canines to canines. It's a bridge. Let's say this tooth is also a tooth, so half circular bridge, but this is just to show how it should look like. And then you can select them, and it looks like this. You can also make a bridge that isn't resting on top of 2 teeth, but one of them is an implant, and then create the bridge, and it looks like this. And you have also this visual feedback that this one is an implant. You know the Pontics by this dashed line. By the way, the whole way how it looks here visually can be fixed or is malleable by the user. You can change it, edit it in the settings tab. You just need to have a clear vision what kind of colors you want to use for which kind of states of tooth. So this is for bridges. Then you can also create prosthesis. Let's say this one person has these 2 sides of back teeth, so in the back of the mouth missing. So you can select multiple teeth and with shift, and then it auto selects into prosthesis, and then you can click them and say, yeah, this is replace tooth. So basically a removable prosthesis. But let's say these are telescopes, and this one also a telescope, but on an implant, and then you can create the prosthesis. And of course you see, so it is shown a little bit different with these square, red and dashed all across it. And then you have the visual feedback, which teeth are the telescope teeth. You have here the tiny E. I'm guessing it's for replacement tooth, Ersatzzahn, in German, because I first devised this app in German. There are probably leftovers that need to be translated into English, but you get the point. So when you're done, you can go back, and then it adds the whole information that we have updated. Good. So this is for this patient. Let's go into another patient. Let's go to Tim Smith. And now here, we're going to click ortho here, and you can update or create an up-to-date status of the orthodontic situation of a patient. Everything according to the IOTN assessment, and it tracks like other things over time. So that every time you make a new assessment, you see how it was in the last time as you're making the assessment, and it is immediately visible what has become better or worse. So you can write positive overjet with or without competent lips. What the millimeters are, you can also write directly on top of it. Let's say 15 millimeters, then we have this grade 5, and it calculates, and then you can save the assessment. And here you have it, IOTN assessment, and the grade of it and how many millimeters. So you get quick ways to view what was the last time, the situation the last time of the patient, but you can also click on it, and you can see a detailed information of the assessment. You can close it down here or just go back. It stays as it is. So we have talked about these two, but in the dental chart, you didn't see this one. I probably should look at it and make it another way that is more visible. You can edit the arc of the teeth, and because we can have mixed teeth and just primary teeth. So everything applies like the other times, like the other dental chart, but now with primary teeth on top of it. I should maybe also add the roots for each of these teeth, but this is a problem for the future. I didn't see it as important at the time when I made this. I just wanted the app to have it. So let's go back. So you got the information on the dental chart on ortho. So now is the treatment plan. Let's say we are going to take this patient. We make a dental chart. Let's say these teeth are in a bridge. This tooth is fractured. These teeth had to be extracted. Let's say extracted, and so on. And here this one, here this one, and here this one. Let's add it. Now we have this situation, but now we want to create a treatment plan. Let's say prosthesis. So we want to fix something in the maxilla. Here, the patient has no problem with the lower jaw, wants to keep them as it is, but it disturbs the patient how this situation here up top. So you've got basically an overlay where you can work on top of the situation that is right now in the mouth of the patient. Let's say we want to create a crown here. We're gonna prep this one. We're gonna add an implant here. So, and we're going to make here, let's say, another crown. And then you can select all of it, and we're gonna make a bridge on top of it. So what this did, it sequenced the steps that we should do in order to get to the point where we create a bridge that goes from 1-3 to 2-3, and the steps that need to be done. So 1-3 needs to turn into a crown, 2-1 needs to get the implant, and then 2-3 also a crown for the bridge. So it needs to be prepped. It's not that this is supposed to be very detailed. It is just so that we can create a visual snapshot of the things that we want to do or intend to do within the patient. Because I've seen in the daily workings of a dentist, sometimes you lose track, and I have to decode the sentences. Sometimes I write too much, and it just takes a lot of more time to reconstruct it mentally, what the visual situation is in the mouth of the patient, whereas here it just takes that mental load off. It makes it much easier. At least for me, I'm a visual learner, so that's why I thought that this would be very, very useful for people. If anyone has proposals on how to make it better, I would be very pleased for it. You can also add manual steps. For example, periodontal therapy, because whatever, so and so. So you can write everything on top of it. And then it shows up here, and the amount of steps that have been finished for this patient. I should maybe see to it that the bridge, when it's added as a new unit on top of all the teeth, that it doesn't read as individual steps for each pontic or tooth that was prepped into a crown, but it still does the job. It's something that I can fix in the future. So basically, we are done with this part, with this upper part. I'm going to show you the documentation. Here, it tells you in the text, you can make a / and then have your own building blocks of information, extraction tooth, blah, 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 anesthesia, which you can fix in the setting step. We have here under clinical. So everything, root findings, root canal status, prosthetics, how they look in those dental charts. You can fix it here. You can fix the text highlight colors, etc., etc., etc. And here under text templates, you just go down to the relevant place where you have the, you see some of the words are still in German, the filling materials, etc. It needs to be fixed. Let's see where we have the text dental chart, text highlight colors here. So composite filling has this text. You can add a new fixed appliance was inserted, and then you can write a whole block of text, blah 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 blah. You can save it, and then you have this new text block. You get the idea. So that's what that is. You can just / root canal treatment, correct the things that you want to correct, or fill in the blanks, and then you save it, and then you have the information here. It auto writes itself under the date of when this was done. Each new day is marked individually, so that you can visually also see that this was done on this particular day and that in that day, etc., etc. You can also highlight text. So let's go with the root canal. Let's say this part is important. You can highlight it and add it, and it's like this. It would be very important, or it would make the life easier to do it like this for orthodontists that put different sized wires. Then you would just highlight the wires, and you can spot them easier in the documentation. So this is for the individual patients where you document. Now let's go over to the next part. Let's say Husseini Hassan, he wants an appointment. You go to schedule, and within schedule, you see the person that is always working is, of course, the one that we added in the beginning. I added myself. So as you drag your excuse me. So as you drag your mouse over, when you add the other staff, nurses and whatever, and you add their working hours, you see here up top, where my name is being shown, the amount of staff that are in the clinic. So you have an exact overview, who is at work at which moment and how many patients can we take. Here are these vertical blocks are the rooms. You can always choose the background color the way you want it. It can also be blue and green in an alternating manner. And for the creating of the appointments is very easy. So I have the patient selected. Look up top, there is appointment scheduler and Husseini Hassan. So when I select this time frame, you can assign it to the room. It auto-detected the room where I dragged. And then you have these predetermined. This is also editable in the settings tab. Let's say for some people, the root canal treatment is only 30 minutes. So you write everything in the way you want to have it. Who will be working, etc. And you can add it to that. Let's say we have done this. We have done the root canal treatment today. You can also add the staff members that were in on it. Here, write straight from the, so you write at, and then you add the members. So when I write anything in, I add it to the timeline. It shows also which people were working on the patient. So this is all relevant information. Let's say I'm deselecting the patient. I'm just in the scheduler. You can always drag and drop. And then let's go here for DOE. It auto-detects the patient. You can save it and so on. If you right-click on the appointments, the patient is in the waiting room. The patient canceled. The patient is a no-show, etc. Everything that you can fix. If you want to shorten the time frame, you can drag and drop, and you have the minutes being shown here at the lower left corner. And you can drag it and move around. You can also move around across rooms. So let's say we are placing them here and there, and just make it work very smoothly, intuitively, so that it isn't time-consuming. And this is also very important in order to check the dashboard and reports, where you see how many patients were served, how many canceled, were no-shows, etc. But also, it also creates individual reports for patients, where you have the information that is stored. How many times has he been in a no-show? How many times has he canceled? And how many times was he really in the appointment as he should have been? Because this makes it easier for you to detect which patients are big time consumers, and you know where to concentrate your efforts. Because if you're a person like me, I try always to look in a positive manner, and I always give too many chances for people that do not really deserve it. And this will be very, very nice. You can create then an internal system of appraising. But I think I didn't have the patient information here added the last time. I will see to it that I update this, because it should be here where I'd written the code, but I guess I didn't commit it at this point, where it shows how many times the patient was a no-show and a percentage of how many appointments were there, how many times was he in the appointments, etc., etc. Good. So you got schedule, the reports, but this is also primitive, preliminary. I will get working to it in the near future. So this is basically it, nearly all of it. And now I've gone and forgot one of the most important things that I've added to the app. So there is some extra functions that make the life of an orthodontist and also a general dentist for the OPTs easier. Let's say we have here in the document templates by this patient, panorama X-ray and cephalometric X-ray, and they show up here. But what you can do is you can select the ones, let's say this one, and then generate an X-ray report. So you can check it and write everything down, what you deem to be important. Let's say all teeth present, 8s, 9s, 1, 8, 2, 8, 3, 8, and 4, 8 are impacted. And then you click on generate PDF, report PDF saved. So that's good. And we go back, and here you have the report, and it creates a PDF. So where it appends text to the panorama X-ray below it, so that you can send it as a unit to the next doctor or whoever needs it, so that you don't have to write two separate things when you need just short snippets of text and the X-ray. I know this is maybe not so very important for most of you people, but I find it useful to have the X-ray as a single file with the commentary as PDF. So that's that, and you have it here, where you can open it up and you see all the present, blah, 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 impacted, etc. So the other one is the cephalometric analyzer. That one I'm extremely proud of. So we have, so by the way, all these x-rays, all these images, they are created by ChatGPT. So everything is AI, no data from any patient at all. And then you have basically the cephalometric analyzer where you place the points. So these are the reference points, and then you go on. I'm just gonna breeze through this one. So you can also zoom in, change the contrast, brightness, and everything. The cephalometric analyzer is also as a standalone open source app. You can find it under my GitHub page. Of course, nothing here, nothing is a medically licensed app. This is all experimental and educational. So I can't be held liable for anything on this end of the stick. So you have this here, you can save it, and it tells you what you can save. You can check the Harmony box from Hazard, and then when it saves, it also generates the PDF reports. And of course, it should also append. Yeah, it took a little bit of time, but here you have it. It appends within the file. The .ceph is the kind of file that the cephalometric analyzer, so cephalizer, can read and regenerate the points and maybe fix something up that wasn't all up to speed. But also it creates the PDF, which is shareable. Double click on it, and then you have the picture and the information and predetermined text boxes of what every kind of value means in that kind of analysis. Of course, the cephalizer is editable, so anyone can create the measurements and angles and distances that they need for their appraisals before they do orthodontic treatment. So these were the extra complicated parts. Let's be honest, the first X-ray commentary app, pretty easy but useful. But the cephalometric analyzer is built in, and that's heavy load, because that app took up to like 8 months of my life and over a year of small improvements over time. So yeah, I would be very pleased if you try it around and see if you like it, and also give me feedback on what to do better, what can be improved.